American corruption runs deep. When YouTuber Nick Shirley visited a number of fraudulent daycare centers in Minnesota, he got more than 100 million views. It was a slap to wake the people. Citizen whistleblowers started looking for the same problems in states like Ohio and Maine, and they found them. Consider Abdullahi Ali, CEO of Gateway Community Services, LLC. He is alleged to have fraudulently overbilled Medicaid in Maine and bragged on Kenyan television that he would topple the president of Jubaland in southern Somalia, presumably with millions of U.S. taxpayer dollars. Notice that anytime anyone says anything about potentially billions being bilked, with much of it running through a Somali corruption syndicate, we immediately hear cries of racism. Those prepared to defend this level of graft, especially politicians, by pulling the racism card, are almost certainly in on it, directly or indirectly. So don't let up. That's to the citizen journalists. Keep turning over the rocks and see what scurries away when you do. Despite the initial histrionic partisan response to Doge, the team had already discovered that USAID and the EPA had mutated into partisan money laundering operations. In one-party California, taxpayers had spent billions on high-speed rail and homelessness relief, only to discover that partisan consultants and NGOs had gotten rich. But the only tracks led to Corruption Town as the homelessness population continues to swell. Add to that all the donations to the LA Fires charity ending up in the hands of political NGOs, and California stands out as one of the most venal states. Let Nick Shirley's work be an object lesson. But no, the mainstream media are complicit in the cover-ups. They stick their fingers in their ears and go la 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 la, because to cover the corruption infection would be to admit Team Blue is rotten at a time when they've gone all in on racism and fascism narratives. It doesn't help matters that these massive corruption vectors are purportedly for homeless people and poor Somali immigrants. This is all convenient cover. Now, I hope you don't mind a little both sidesism. Don't think for a second that the corruption infection is just a problem with one party. The other side might not be as venal, but it is certainly as corrupt. Team Red just allowed itself to be bought by the military-industrial complex. See the big, beautiful bill for an example. In other words, independent-minded folks need to stay vigilant about the shenanigans on both the left and the right, particularly as the latter get into a mindset of, if they're willing to lie, cheat, and steal, we need to be too. Therefore, curing the corruption infection has to be led by us. We need a networked army of transparency enthusiasts. We need legions of Nick Shirleys. These are the folks who know how to pore through public data, dig through boring tables, and partner with YouTubers, TikTokers, and others willing to show up and record themselves with government officials. Whether at the state or national level, we're running out of money to burn. A decentralized team of sunlight disinfectants must emerge to cure the infection. We simply cannot count on unwieldy bureaucracies surrounded by a hostile mainstream media. We need to count on you. Corruption is another vector in the slow, grinding civil war that only looks like left versus right on the surface. In truth, it's us against them, the people versus the powerful. 1,000 spreadsheet warriors with smartphone cameras are like chlorine sunshine to the corrupt. And we must never let up, because we can no longer count on the integrity of our rulers. We must turn to accountability, and that starts with us. If you're a creative, a builder, or an innovator, you might be ready to win funding. Through Human Respect Labs, you can get up to $30,000 to fund your next creative project. But not just any project. We're looking for 6 kinds of builders: video storytellers, community builders, writers, entrepreneurs, strategists, and innovators, any of which should be dedicated to human liberation. That means making government obsolete. Why? We know too much energy goes into politics, but not enough goes into real solutions. So if you're a freedom lover and you have a project idea that promotes peace, autonomy, and voluntary collaboration, we want to hear from you. Apply now at humanrespectlabs.org. That's humanrespectlabs.org. criticize by creating.